Shine live with us in the studio. Well, virtually, but don't know. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, man, we can hear you. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, yes. Everything
All
nice. Everything.
right, everything governed. Bless up. Thanks for having me on the program. Big
Like,
up to the massive. Big up to my Afro Nation. Big up to everybody from the Caribbean. I know you in Boston, right?
yes, yes.
Big up all of the Cape Verde and them. We're sweet like honey. I see you, mommy.
Bless, bless, bless. So let me just say a big thank you. Like I'm super, super excited to have you on my show with me because I literally grew up listening to you in the 90s.
All
Like
right.
I my voice wasn't as thick as yours, but like as a little youth,
Uh-huh.
send me your love, baby. That's
Send me your love, baby. And under your
your
love.
love, honey.
Come on, the voice
Take the
there.
shackles from off my feet.
And it goes a little something like this.
Boy, super, super excited.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
so once again, thank you for this opportunity. And
Mhm.
let me just start from the beginning. Like, how did Born Jamericans as a group get founded? Because
So
I,
Born Jamericans was started in the year of way long time in 1992.
mm,
Um, a singer by the name of who is now known as Notch. I met him at my father's record store. I grew up in Washington, D.C., but all
okay,
of my family before my generation was born in Kingston, Jamaica. So that's where you get the Jamaican aspect
okay,
of culture. So from there, we met and he told me that he sing and he wanted, back then they had the 12 inches with the instrumental on one
yep,
side, the
yep.
song on one side. So I said, that's dope. So we exchanged information. And at my crib at the time, I always had a little setup because my uncle owns a sound system in
Mm,
Washington called Emperor. It's one of the oldest sound systems. Big up
I,
to
I'm aware.
so from there, he came through. He listened to me chant, our DJ, as they call it in Jamaica, emceeing for
Mhm.
Americans. And I heard him sing. I said, "Yo, you got a wicked voice." But at the time, he was emulating other singers from Jamaica. So I said, "Yo, you have your own voice." And from there, we started creating music, putting things, and then we realized we had similar backgrounds. His father was Jamaican, my mother and father was Jamaican, so we both grew up with our Jamaican culture as well as being in America around hip hop and Black Americans. So that's how we kind of formed that brotherhood,
Mhm.
and Born Jamericans was born. And long story short, we did a couple talent shows. Our demo got handed to a youth named Kitson Walker. He took it out to LA, played it for a lady named Leslie Cooney, who now runs a label called Delicious Vinyl Island, ironically. But at the time, they were doing hip hop and R&B. But Leslie always wanted a reggae group, and she
Mm.
found Born Americans, and the rest is history. We dropped reggae music around the world. They respect that. Every time we touch the mic, them screaming boom
Boom
shaka.
shaka talk. Say bop 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 bop. I got big bop bops going on in the chat room. Big up Sophisticated X. Hey, you can call in though, 774-559-7128. Not right now though. I still have a couple of questions I want to ask for. You can
Yeah,
call
man.
chat with Born Jamericans. Edley Shine, sorry. You can have a chat with Edley
It's
Shine.
all good.
All right, so that was kind of the genesis of the group Born Jamericans. But from what I gathered, you guys started in the US and you kind
Yeah,
of crossed over the reggae dancehall genre.
right.
Because again, I grew up as a little youth in Nigeria, in Africa, and we were bopping that thing in the 90s. So you
Right.
definitely crossed over. And just from little I know about the Jamaican reggae dancehall culture, I know there
Right.
are tons of gatekeepers. How did
Yeah.
you guys kind of break that barrier and how well were you accepted backyard?
I mean, we were never accepted in Jamaica. It's the equivalent of someone of Nigerian descent whose mother and father is from Nigeria but they were born in America, but
Mm,
then they take up Afrobeats and then make the music in America, but then try to go home and
mm,
relate to the people that's actually on the ground. I don't know how it fares for that side of the fence, but on the Jamaica side of the fence, it's something. There's still a tug of war as far as culturally when you're a descendant or you're of the diaspora, you're loved because you're in America and you bring the opportunities back home, but they don't rate you like how they would rate a Jamaican that grew up in Jamaica, born up in the sun, under the mango tree, went
mm.
through the struggle of being from an island, getting their visa, and then coming to America for the ones who make it. So Born Americans ended up making us, when we first got our record deal, our mentality was go to Jamaica and be amongst the Jamaicans and work with Jamaican producers and be authentic as can be. Because we already had the name Born Jamericans, which was a strike against us, like Jamaican, but them are American and try to feel hardcore dancehall. Another root of the thing that's how they looked at us back then. Now in 2023, you're accepted if you're multifaceted and multicultural, especially in reggae music. Before it never was like that. If you wasn't a hardcore Jamaican from Jamaica, you wasn't really I see them more accepting artists from Germany, artists from Japan, artists from Italy, but American doing dancehall it's taboo, I should say.
Yeah.
But so we didn't get much love or much enthusiasm when we went to Jamaica. So we came back home and we said we're going to use the resources we have because we love music and we love our culture. So we ended up meeting a producer by the name of Chucky Thompson. Now, just a FYI, Chucky Thompson is one of the original hitmen for Puff Daddy. He produced Notorious B.I.G., Mary J. Blige, Life, Faith Evans, and all of those Puffy hits. But before he signed to Bad Boy with Puffy, he worked on a reggae group from Washington, D.C. called Born Jamericans, and that's how our first album was formed.
Nice. I mean, it's funny you mentioned that because, like I prefaced with, you guys crossed over reggae and dancehall.
Right.
And, it's a similar scenario with Afrobeat scene.
Right.
We have tons of great Afrobeat artists here in the stateside, but I mean, like you said, if they're not from back home, then it's like
it's very difficult. And I think it's just one of those things but those barriers need to be broken because you need the economy and you need those people and we could get into this. A lot of people ask me, why do they think Afrobeats has superseded dancehall? Is it better music or is it a better infrastructure? And I always tell them it's a better infrastructure. You know, the skill sets is almost the same as far as artistry and presentation, but the African artists have a way better business savvy and business infrastructure. They already been ingrained in the American music economy as far as culture, as far as executives that work at the label, as far as publicists, as far as everything. So they just needed a sound and an image and something that the Americans can relate to and also want to imitate. And Afrobeats is that. So that's why you see this quick turnaround with everything, with the Grammys and the categories and all the success. Whereas Jamaica doesn't have any infrastructure when it comes to the American music business whatsoever. Zero, none. So it's different.
Preach on in the chat room. Sophisticated X, big of yourself. She's like, preach on, brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So what do you think is a hold up with, Jamaica and Jamaican artists in Jamaica, sort of building up that infrastructure? Because again, you guys pioneered it, you crossed over. I think the likes of you, Shaggy, even Supercat, Buju Banton, like they all laid the foundation. Why do you think the culture didn't just kind of build up off of that? And
I'm always a rational thinker and a rational man, so I'm gonna put it in a way where everyone can understand it. Africa is a place where it has 54 countries, millions of people with different cultures, different dialects, but the one thing that they have all in common is they're from Africa. Jamaica the same way, but in Jamaica, it's one small island with 3 million people with a global influence. So when you have that small microcosm of people that's so influential around the world, it's hard to get a man that have a mansion on one side of the street and a shanty house on the next side of the street in that small of an environment to work together towards a better tomorrow. So it's a thing of classism. It's a thing of greed, corruption, and everything else that any Black continent has to deal with, but it's more concentrated in Jamaica. So when someone goes into music in Jamaica, it's always from a camp of people. That camp of people is making sure that their family and their artists that they have is a success. Them the business with the man across the street or the man down the road. They got to find their own way. And even when they meet on the world stage, it's always a reserve where, yeah, man, we made it to the same place, but you, that on your side of the fence, this is the World Cup. Me, I represent that side there. You, I represent that side there. They don't think of it. You see it in the forefront that we're representing Jamaica and they waving the Jamaican flag, but internally, business-wise, everybody's for themselves. And I don't know what's going to change that mentality where they unite and work as one cohesive unit to build a culture and build a genre. I have yet in my lifetime to see that happen in a major way. Whereas Afrobeat, they got it together right there and then. As soon as one man get you to get a Grammy and go platinum, you just see more artists coming through the same gate rapidly. So they must win. It was an easy kill.
Very true. No, yeah. No lie told there at all.
No lie.
So moving along, the group.
Right.
So you guys, early 90s up until I think perhaps about 97 when you released the Yardcore album.
Right.
The group kind of dissipated. Can you talk to me a little bit about what happened with the group?
So it was multiple things that started to go wrong with Born Jamericans. It started with our label because, like I said, we were signed, we were on a boutique independent label at the time, and this is the 90s. And even though that boutique independent label had a massive success, because we're talking a label that had Tone Loc Wild Thing that sold 5 million copies. Young MC's Bust a Move that sold 5 million copies. Then they had The Far Side, She Keeps On Passing Me By. Brand New Heavies, which was a huge band from the UK. So they knew success and they knew how to work records and they knew what it took. But here comes the avant-garde Born Jamericans now with all this Caribbean success. But the thing about an independent label, it's almost like a production deal where you sign to the label, they give you a budget, you do your project, and then they take it to the big label for the promotions and the distribution. And what happened with us, they kept on losing their distribution during our projects. So back then, it was CDs and cassettes and records. If your CD, cassette, and records wasn't in the store, you wouldn't sell any units. So we kept on falling short. We had the popularity, we had the fame, but we weren't getting the sales. We were on the road touring with every big artist of the moment. We were charting. We were #1 in a lot of big markets in America. So on the surface, it looked like we were this big successful group, but internally, we weren't pulling in the financial gains of what the success was saying. So that put a strain on us. Then we fell out with management. And who's next to fall out after management is gone? The label says, yes, now we got it separate. Let's pick this apart now. Let's find the element that we feel is marketable and sellable and get rid of the part that we feel is replaceable, which was me. And that kind of led to the other member of the group wanting to disband and do his own thing. And I was actually released from the label after writing all of Born Jamerican hit records. They saw no more value in me after 5 years. So that's how the group broke up.
That's a damn shame.
It is what it is. It's the music business. Every week breaks up. That's how they want it. You know, every Destiny Child going to generate a Beyonce. Every Ladies of the New School will generate a Busta Rhymes. And sometimes it's eternal personal things. Sometimes it's just the record company, you know.
Yeah,
it's what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. And like you said, that's the music business. So moving along, you did your own thing. I forget the name of the track now, but you started releasing music again as an independent artist in 2014.
Right.
Dropped a whole heap of tunes since then. And there's where I'm going with this. You released OnlyFans, something girl. I forget the name of the record now.
I had Cloud9, All Said and Done, Jamaican Hustle. I had my EP during the pandemic, which was 6 songs. That had Babylon Breeze, Big Monting. I got a lot of music, and most of my songs and projects were just me expressing myself, doing my talent. And I had to learn how to be able to put music out by myself as an individual independently, because I didn't have a team. When I first started, I didn't have a publicist. I didn't have anything. So And then I was discovering the internet, you know, because when we were at our height apex, the internet wasn't even a factor in music right now. But now the internet is everything to be an artist. So I had to learn advertising and things of that nature. So what you've seen from that time span, 2014 to 2023, was me putting on my mogul hat and being Shinerless Records and being my own independent done. And it's been working for me so far.
Good. I'm glad to hear. I remember the song now. Side Piece.
Side Piece. So that was produced by Born Jamericans.
Hold on 1 second. I have where I'm going with this. So from Side Piece to Grow,
right?
There's like a wide range of I would say messaging behind the music.
Right.
Talk me through Side Piece and putting that record together.
So Side Piece, I was working with some young artists, and the singer that was on it, we were working, and Bada General sent me the rhythm, and he's like, yo, work with a singer and give me a combination tune for this rhythm. And back then, this was when the term side piece you just started hearing it in pop America. And if you even go back to my Born Jamerican material, there was always a sense of consciousness in it, but then, and with reggae music and dancehall in general, we don't talk about one thing or stay in one lane. Yes, we are conscious. Yes, we know ourselves. Yes, we know about elevation and all that. But inside of that, you're going to get some badman tunes. You're going to get some gal tunes. You're going to get some whatever is the topic of the day tunes. And I come from that lineage and that cloth. So even though with going from a song like Side Piece to having a song out like Grow is my core audience and what resonates with my fan base at the moment. So it just shows the growth that I made of having a song like Side Piece and then elevating to a song like Grow now, to the point where people is like, yo, this is the type of music we want to hear from you. We don't want to see you trying to assimilate to what the young people in dancehall is doing. Leave that to them. You are best, and we appreciate you more when you have the dynamics of you and someone else talking your Edley Shine stuff. So that's where all that comes out. So, but I stand on anything I put out because Side Piece did a good. It started a conversation. Like Edley Shine's making music. He's jumping back in the fray. What's going on? Group coming back together. It just started a whole lot of conversations with a lot of people. So I know music where I make my music is like movies. 1 year you drop a comedy, the next year you drop a horror flick. I just suck that.
So we go. So let me play a little snippet of Grow. Big shout out to everyone in the chat room. Drop your questions in the chat room if you want. I can ask them live, or you can call in as well, 774-559-7128.
Advice. What a pray.
Edley Shine Live on AfroSurge Radio.
See Louisville, Jamaica. Things change. Man, them sell out. To them. I gone to the dance. Just put him down to the bar. The words don't freak out, them has never reached. Them stop them them rapping pain, who's to take the blame? You just fucking up them brain. Not the job, then I walk down the train. Oh, them I go sustain.
That was Grow by Edley Shine live on AfroSurge Radio. And Edley, it's okay, we can cuss. So yeah, we don't have to censor nothing.
Oh, I will. All right. I don't know if we're live or not. So, Bumbleclad, Rasclad.
All right. So the first line on that record, big up DJL on the check-in. You like my better.
Yeah, man.
Don't see the culture, it's gone to the dogs.
Right.
That's loaded. That's heavy.
Yeah.
And I grew up listening to dancehall. Actually, I listened to dancehall more than I listened to Afrobeats as a little youth.
Wow. All right.
Dancehall, raga, reggae. That was my genre, and then I transitioned to soca, and then now because Afrobeat is a thing, I started listening to Afrobeats probably within the past 3-4 years.
Right.
That first sentence right there is heavy. Culture, it's gone to the dogs.
Right.
Talk to me about your opinion on that.
All right. So this just shows you the elevation of of where my mindset is and where I was when I wrote the song, because I'm in America and because people look at me as a representation, whether Jamaicans want to accept me or not. When I go out in the world, people see me as a representation of Jamaican and Jamaican culture. And people ask me, they say, hey, I notice the music is kind of in one gear right now coming out of Jamaica. They're either talking about trapping, they're either, they're talking about women in a derogatory way, or it's some type of gangster image. And there's like, we know that that's part of the culture, that's part of every Black person's experience, but what happened to the good roots and culture and the positivity that we used to see? What happened to the come back to Jamaica feeling? What happened to, everything Iron Man, the jerk chicken and the drink with the straw in it? I'm not getting those vibes. I'm getting an angry, dark vibe from Jamaica. Even though there's happy music out there, it's not being perpetuated by the quote unquote gatekeepers of reggae and dancehall, the few that are left that have an influence over the global market. So with that being said, I said, I see that, and with the loss of, categories for reggae on playlists on these streaming services, it's a very few amount left and spaces where this music can actually be placed. And they're only placing what's popular in the Caribbean, but the Caribbean is only highlighting one side of the music. So where we are right now is our influential artists that can't necessarily travel to America are not putting up the numbers that they used to. If you check the sales of the last 3-4 major reggae releases, it's very, very low. I mean, extremely low, to the point where a major label will look at it and scoff and be like, that music is dead. We don't even want to deal with that no more. In the Caribbean itself and amongst reggae lovers around the world, the music and the culture is still loved. But from an economic standpoint and a music industry standpoint, the culture has really gone to the dogs. And I could even go deeper and tell you that a big reason why the dancehall and reggae community has developed this hustle the game mentality. And I think they picked it up from listening to a lot of trap music and hip hop, a lot of the things that come out of hip hop, where I'm a hustler, take a Percocet, do this, do that. This is how you get money. And then they took up this scamming thing where it's call people on the phone, get them to send me money, and I'm getting money and I'm driving a Benz and all that. This is the imagery
the Nigerian Prince
coming out there. So you don't even recognize, Jamaica don't even look like Jamaica when you look at the typical dancehall videos anymore. Outside of a Shaggy, outside of a Spice, outside of, the dancing videos, you don't get that feeling anymore. So when I made the song, I wanted it to be a wake-up call to any Jamaican that listened to it and be like, yo, why that you feel away? You there, America, and you look down upon we in Jamaica, and you said the culture gone to the dogs. Why are you saying that? And when you listen to the lyrics, it says, see the culture gone to the dogs. Every day I get to you, gone to the morgue. Because the world done freak out. The elders never reach out. Molly and the scammer them, that's who them seek out. So I'm telling Jamaica that what you're putting out to the world is not translating into commerce for you, because it's all negative. And negative without positive don't make energy. Simple as that.
Facts. Actually, it's funny you mentioned that. Byron Messer with Taliban's, he has one of the biggest records now.
Right.
Right. He put out a statement saying he crossed over.
Yeah.
But I don't see it. He did a remix with Burna Boy.
All right.
I personally wouldn't call that crossover.
So let me tell you, let me break that down for you. And I don't know him. I never met him. I probably never will meet him in my lifetime. But as an elder who's walked the paths that he's walking right now, I don't know. I haven't seen him physically say that. They say it was a story post that he put that he had the biggest dancehall song from 2005, which is inaccurate. And the fact that he's saying he crossed over, I think it just has a certain thing with Generation Z artists where they get that one moment and they get those couple stage shows where people are singing the song back to them and they feel like they've arrived and made it. They feel like, yes, I am the biggest and the best. But when it comes to dancehall music on Jamaican people, which they're very proud, and they have a huge ego. Certain things that you put out there, they will check the facts. They will check the numbers. They will do their research. And even when I heard the statement, I said he crossed over. He has the biggest song from 2005. And when I started looking at the actual numbers of where the song is, and I see, first thing I learned is that he signed to a major label. So I wouldn't necessarily boast upon conquering dancehall, because most of the luminaries of dancehall conquered the genre before they were signed to a label. You actually had help and assistance to accelerate your success. Nothing wrong with that. Congratulations to him. But when you make, when statements like that come out into the universe, if he didn't say it, he should come out and correct it, because you're dissing a whole infrastructure and a whole genre of youths who work hard feet that didn't get the alley-oop of a label to put them on the big playlists and have the big banners on Spotify and work your record at radio and have all these things to make you feel like you crossed over. Now, feeling like crossing over and actually crossing over, two different things. When I see him hold up a platinum plaque from America, from the American music industry, when I see him hold up a Grammy from the American music industry, when I see him with a BMI for writing his own song that he didn't take from another Jamaican and take the pattern and the style and all that stuff, when I see you do all of these boxes that you have to check off to say that you crossed over, and you sell 20 million like Shaggy, then I will believe you. But till then, he young, so I chalk that up to being young and not really understanding the game. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Nice answer. So now let's move over to the joke thing.
All right.
Let's do a little Africa Caribbean clash.
Oh Lord, here we go. Here we go.
Jerk chicken or suya? Do you know what suya is?
I don't know what suya is.
Suya is it's kind of like a kebab. All right.
Then.
No, let me back it up. Since you don't know what suya is, jollof rice or rice and peas?
Rice and peas, straight.
Okay. Have you ever had a goosey?
A goosey. What? You got to tell me what it is.
It's like melon seeds with vegetables. They put all sorts of meats in it. Sometimes seafood.
Yeah, I've had it before.
Fufu.
Yeah, I have that with fufu before. All Big up to my African friends. So you said that or
fufu and a goosey or dumpling and banana.
Why, you make it, it's like you saying the things you grew up with or the things that you tried as an adult. Dumpling and banana, straight.
All right, that's 2-0.
But you know what I really like that I had? I like spicy goat.
Oh, asu, yeah.
Yes.
So soup is very, very similar to asu. It's usually beef or chicken.
Right.
It's grilled on a skewer and nice seasoned peanut seasoning and lots of pepper, real spicy and all.
Yeah, man. On a spicy goat, turn up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Edley, thank you so much for your time. Once again, it was an honor speaking with you. But before I let you go, any collaborations in the works and anything you want your listeners to or your fans to know?
I mean, I want my fans to know that Grow is out. You can check out, you can stream the song. The song is on Boomplay for all my African crew that got Boomplay. Yes. The song is available on Spotify. You can watch the video and download it now. I just got added to the Coda network. Big up Coda. Big up my big brother, Mad Lion, Lexi Chow, the whole Coda family. You don't know. Go download Coda. That's Caribbean on Demand. It's on Google Play and the Apple Store as well. And just more music, man, more vibes. And if you like Grow, I'm going to give you some more Grow vibes. I'm going to give you some girl vibes. I'm going to just be the Edley Shine that people know and love and give them that Born Jamericans feeling because the group now lives with me. So I will continue the legacy. You don't know. At the big voice, Edley Shine. Big up to the whole AfroSurge. Oh, and big up Richard Dean, the whole Grung Cake.
That's my girl.
You don't know. Thank you very much. Much blessings. We got more work to do. We are going to do some bigger things. And I'm independent, y'all. So support the thing.
All right. Bless up, Edley Shine.
Respect.
On the big voice. What a dream. From DC, Louisville, Jamaica.
And that's how we grow. Never sign the dotted line and then go bow. And that's how we grow. And that's how we grow.
Rockstone Now we foundation, concrete build we house. Everybody just a house, you got them want make it out.